Now that you hopefully have a basic understanding of resources, I want to show you how it's possible to add custom actions to a resource. I already showed you the default actions that are available, being save, update, delete, etc. A custom action is an action that we define, which we can then use in the same way as we did in the previous lecture. We already used the delete action on the resource that we created, but perhaps we want to implement functionality that soft deletes a review. That is, instead of deleting it, it will be marked as deleted. For this, we need to send a delete request to the same endpoint as in the previous lecture, but with a query parameter named soft, with a value of true. The backend doesn't do anything with this parameter, and just deletes the review anyways, but the point is just to pretend as if the review is soft deleted. Alright, let's get to business. We need to pass an additional argument to the $resource method to specify any custom actions. This argument should be an object, so let's add a variable and initialize it with an object. So let's go to the created lifecycle hook and add a variable right here named custom actions, being an object like I said. Within this object, we can specify the names of our custom actions as keys, and the values should be an object of options for the actions. In this case, I'll add a soft delete action with an HTTP method of delete and with a different URL than what is defined on the resource itself. This means that when using this action, this request URL takes precedence over the one defined on the resource. So the name of the action will be soft delete. And now the options object, the method being the HTTP verb will be delete, and the URL will be the following. I'll just copy this and modify it just to save a bit of time. So the URL is going to be the same, just with a soft query parameter at the end with a value of true. We then have to pass this object to the $resource method as the third argument. The second one is an object of parameters. We don't need that one for now, so I'll just pass an empty object. So, like I said, an empty object as the second argument, and then our custom actions object. We can now invoke a soft delete action on the resource object instead of the delete action. So within the delete review method, I'll comment out this line and replace it with this.review resource .soft delete and do like this. So the rest of the behavior is exactly the same. Now we're just using a different URL because we're using the soft delete action that we defined a moment ago now. If I delete a review now, a query parameter should be added to the request URL. So let's go to the browser and I will open up the browser's console just so that we can see the request URL in a moment and navigate to our product. So let's try to delete this review right here. And as we can see, a query parameter of soft has been added and the request method is delete. So this means that our new URL was indeed being used for the custom action and also the request method. And that's how you can implement custom actions, where you can specify any of the HTTP options that you can with the built-in methods. So you could also add other options that you saw in the documentation in a previous lecture if you need to.